Good morning, folks. Thank you so much for your patience and joining us on this beautiful morning. We are very thrilled to be having you all today. My name is Brandon Harami. I am an aide to Councilmember Sheng Thao and her communications director, and will be helping MC this important discussion on this new policy introduced by the Council President Pro Tem. So I would love to open up with the first speaker, which is the Councilmember, the Council President Pro Tem Sheng Thao, who will be discussing her new policy on unilateral hiring. Council President Pro Tem, take it away.
Thank you so much. And good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this very important press conference. Public safety is my top priority. As a council member and as a mom, all Oaklanders deserve to be and to feel safe. And we are in a public safety emergency right now. It feels like every day we experience a new senseless tragedy. And at the same time, our shrinking police force doesn't have the resources to adequately serve our community. And because of this, we are at risk of losing vital Measure Z dollars for violence prevention programs like Ceasefire, crime reduction teams, and the fire department. And our residents and our businesses are all asking for a sense of urgency from their city leaders. And they're asking for more than the same approaches that have not worked previously. They want us to do more than just study the problem. They want us to solve the problem. And we're going to need innovative strategies and leadership to do so. My police hiring plan will reduce the vacancies in the police department, bring good, experienced officers to Oakland, and keep them in Oakland while saving taxpayers money. I agree with my colleagues that we need a sixth academy, and that's part of my plan as well. But let's be clear, academies take a long time to produce results. A traditional police academy approved today wouldn't get new officers on the ground until 2023. And Oakland is facing the highest homicide rate in almost a decade. We need aggressive, creative approaches to this crisis, and we need them now. That's why my plan authorizes the sixth academy, but also utilizes the funding funding others proposed for a seventh academy for a different and more immediate strategy. One that can produce results and can produce more officers now, not in 2023, not in 2024, but now. The first step of my plan directs the city administrator to immediately hire an independent recruiting firm who will partner with the city in a nationwide search for experienced, talented, committed, and community-focused patrol officers, and with the diverse backgrounds and with no history of misconduct. These officers, what we call lateral officers, are not rookies. Unlike graduates from traditional academies, these officers are already experienced and ready to hit the streets as an active patrol officer. Under my plan, these lateral officers would receive a $50,000 hiring bonus to come to Oakland. If any officer who is a part of this program then leaves OPD before completing 5 years of service, they will pay the city back a prorated remainder of that bonus. And if they leave before 18 months, they must return the full amount. My proposal requires that this nationwide search seek out women, people of color, LGBTQ officers, and officers with good disciplinary and performance records. This legislation will enhance not only our ability to hire officers quickly, but will also support the critical work of making sure that our police department is diverse, inclusive, and reflects our values here in Oakland. My plan also includes a critical local hire component. I believe that there are many amazing dedicated residents here in the city of Oakland who are eager to protect and serve our city. We are having more people who actually come from Oakland to serve Oakland on the police force will improve our community policing efforts, reduce attrition, and help improve the relationship between residents and police. That is why local hire is part of my proposal for, or was part of my proposal for, a fifth academy, which I was able to pass in September, and why In this plan, I'm calling for a $20,000 hiring bonus for Oakland residents who complete the academy and become Oakland police officers. My plan is substantive, it is creative, and it can produce results with the urgency that the moment demands. And it has the support of local community, business, and faith leaders who I am so honored to have standing with me here today. So I urge my colleagues on the council to consider this plan when it comes up for a vote at the December 7th Special Public Safety Council meeting in this upcoming Tuesday. And so I do want to go ahead and pass this virtual mic over back to Brandon, and he'll introduce the next speaker.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Greatly appreciate it. As part of this press conference, we wanted to take some time to welcome other speakers who are being impacted by the rise in violent crime and property crimes in Oakland. We are very thrilled to be welcoming a phenomenal West Oakland business, 7th West, and two of their co-owners, Donna and Kevin, who will talk a little bit more about this policy and how it will impact businesses in West Oakland. Kevin and Donna, I would welcome you to take the mic and make sure you unmute yourself.
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you, Councilmember Thao. Both Donna and myself here at 7th West are very excited to hear about this policy. From our perspective as small business owners, the push for this is tremendous because we definitely need immediate support for our police force to address some of these violent crimes happening in recent months, especially some of the burglaries to retail and food and beverage small businesses. We also think that the push for more experienced lateral officers to come and supplement our local workforce is tremendous because we cannot wait for additional folks to be able to help address some of our immediate needs now. And I think that's very important. And the focus on also retaining local and also a diverse workforce, police force, is critical to addressing the changing demographics and neighborhoods and profiles of the city of Oakland across the board. We also think that new programs like the macro program that's being piloted in West and East Oakland will be tremendous for us to explore new ways of policing and addressing less violent and more mental health issues in the city. And I think Donna can speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the program is very exciting for us specifically because a lot of our calls that we have here is to non-emergency. They are not necessarily violent crimes. A lot of it is folks that are very clearly having mental health issues, and having a program like that and really relying on community efforts, I think is going to be a really big step in the right direction for us here in West Oakland, and I'm sure in other locations in Oakland.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for once again highlighting that this approach needs to be holistic. It needs to be with the investments that we made in violence prevention services in July are extremely important to ending this wave in violent crime. So really appreciate it, you two. Up next, I am going to introduce Daniel Swafford, who currently serves as the executive director of both the Montclair Village Association and the Laurel Business District in District 4. Daniel has been a longtime partner with the District 4 office in helping us ensure we meet the needs of small businesses. And Daniel, we are so thrilled to have you join us here today. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. As Brandon had mentioned, through the organizations that I work with, I help serve over 400 small businesses of Oakland, and I can tell you that the need is great right now, especially around public safety and helping these businesses recover from the hardships over the past 18 months due to the closures because of COVID. I've had the pleasure to work closely with Councilmember Thao for many years, and seeing just the amazing public servant that she is, recognizing and being responsive to the needs of communities of Oakland. So it's been wonderful that she's been able to secure resources in recent history here, such as walking officers for the commercial districts that are now hitting the ground and really helping the ability for our businesses to move into the holiday shopping season with confidence that their business is going to be safe and secure, that their customers are going to be well looked after, and that local economy can be strong. The council member knows how important small businesses are to the culture and the sense of togetherness in our neighborhoods. These small and independent businesses need the attention of our public safety servants to be able to really, as I mentioned, pull through some of these challenges that we've seen over the last year, and be able to really make sure that there's confidence in our communities, that they can come out, they can gather safely in our shared spaces, and that they're going to be able to participate in the local economy that we've been able to build and really highlight as a wonderful place for people to come and spend time and spend money in the city of Oakland. I've been really impressed by the council members' ability to focus on needs throughout the city. Heard from my colleagues mention the macro program and really getting that up and running in a comprehensive way, increasing the 911 response that I think we'll also receive once we get officers staffed up as soon as possible, so that calls that come in, they're not just for high level crisis, can be addressed with public service professionals, whether that's police staffing or other individuals, to respond and to be able to assist with the situation. So I can't underscore enough how important it is to have staffing in the departments where we need services from, how important that's going to be for our small business community, especially as they really try to do their best to serve the public. So I appreciate the work that she's been able to put in calling attention to this need and being creative and responsive in a way that can get results as soon as possible. I know it can be challenging to staff up and it's a time-consuming process. So to think creatively and how we can bring trained professionals that can serve our city responsibly is, I think, a valuable solution and something that we really need support for today, as we've seen over the past few months with a number of the issues that have been coming up throughout the Bay Area. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Daniel. And yes, I do want to just take a moment to appreciate all the feedback that you give us and all the hard work that you do supporting our small businesses through this pandemic and through this increase in crime. So really appreciate you, Daniel. Our next speaker doesn't really need much of an introduction, but you all know him as the co-chair of Oakland Ceasefire program, as well as the pastor at Thy Word Ministries. I am very thrilled to welcome Pastor Billy Dixon Jr. Pastor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Councilwoman Thao. We thank God for giving me this opportunity. The Dixon At Thy Word Christian Center has been in Oakland for 23 years. Dixon's Fish and Chicken has been in the community since 1969. My grandfather has started it, and it's even more about business. These added police officers will save lives. That's the key thing, saving lives. We had our highest number in murders that we had in a while, and this will free up the chief to be able to fully fund and fully implement the ceasefire program. It'll put officers back into our CROs, CRTs. We'll be able to fulfill all those positions when these people come on board immediately and put us back into compliance immediately with Measure Z funding, make sure that all these things are carried out. Right across the street from my church, we've had several people murdered just right across the street, and it's time that we bring in the necessary officers, necessary people that we need to stop this not only pandemic with the COVID-19, but this pandemic and violence in America, period. I was just reading earlier, Philadelphia, since then, their murder rate is up to 500 people this year. Chicago is up. Everywhere around the country is up. We need police officers to give us safety, but it also provides us to meet that need again in our communities with offering these services, offering people that are involved in shootings an opportunity to change, being able to have direct communications with them through our police staff, through our community people, through our Department of Violence Prevention. It'll free up a whole lot of time, a whole lot of energy. When we were on our way to our lowest numbers, we were at 730 officers, I believe it was. We had enough officers to do all the jobs that needed to be done. So now with this great suggestion, this great idea that I'm supporting fully, that we bring in these lateral officers in to start patrolling the streets after their 12-week or however many weeks of training they need to go. It'll be faster, it'll be complete. We won't have to wait for a whole academy, and then for that whole academy to go through field training off, and then for them finally to probably, we're talking about 6 months just for the academy, 8 months just for the academy, then another 4 or 5 months, 6 months for training, and then the probationary period. We're talking a long time, but when we talk about immediately being able to put people that have been trained, that are post-certified, that meet the criteria, and we're not talking about bringing on anybody that all come. We're talking about people with clean backgrounds that can pass the background checks, that can pass the psychological exams. We're talking about the whole thing, but it will be an added bonus to the city of Oakland to immediately put people in position to patrol our streets. So I'm pushing this idea, and I'll be there on December 7th, cheering for this to be passed by the city council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate your support for this innovative measure. Next, we are going to wrap up with some Q&A. So this is your opportunity to ask questions. Feel free to use the raise hand feature for questions. I do see that we have, someone took advantage of the Q&A. Oh, it's Guy. It's the reporter with one of the coolest names I've ever read. So Councilmember Thao, this is directed at you from Guy Marzorati from KQED. What are your thoughts on police staffing proposal Mayor Schaaf announced this week? What are some key ways your plan is different?
Yes, thank you so much for this question. It's an incredibly important question. So in September, I pressed forward with a direction for the city administration to come back to city council for cost analysis, and that was passed. And so I'm thrilled to see that the city administration has done so and are ready to come with that cost analysis for a 6th academy, which is something that I passed in September. And in regards to where does it differ, it differs in the sense that this is actually going to create an incentive for laterals, meaning we can get, and this is exactly what the pastor said as well too, that we will get officers on the ground working in Oakland, patrolling Oakland, more immediate, in a more efficient way than waiting for academies to be recruited for and then to graduate them. And so this is going to be more efficient and more expeditious. And not just that, but we are able to also create an incentive and find the best talent nationwide, the best talent that we can to fill in these vacancies in the police department.
Great. Thank you so much, Councilmember. I do have a few questions from Sarah Ravini from the SF Chronicle. She dropped them in the chat, and a lot of them are policy related. The first question is, can you please detail how this program will be funded?
Absolutely. That's a really great question as well. And so I know that we asked for a costing analysis in my resolution that was passed when I passed the 5th Academy in September. And so city staff and the city administration is ready to propose that costing analysis for a 6th and a 7th academy that is going to be public starting tomorrow, Friday. And so I'm excited to be able to actually have those cost analysis, because that's how we will fund a 6th academy. And then in regards to the 7th academy, we'll be able to take those funds and actually start this lateral nationwide search to get the best officers that we can to come to protect and serve Oaklanders, and to hire locally and create those incentives so that we can fill the 60 vacancies that we currently have here in the city of Oakland.
Great. I have another question from her. Are the signing bonuses only open to Oakland residents and experienced officers?
The signing bonuses are, yes, open to lateral officers. So if you qualify as an experienced officer and you have no negative background checks or what have you in regards to disciplinary actions, then you will qualify to apply. And if you successfully become an officer with the OPD, that is when you will get your $50,000 signing hiring bonus. And if you are an Oaklander and reside in Oakland, then and you go through the new training, the new officer training program, and you succeed, then you will get a $20,000 hiring bonus.
Great. And then last question from Sarah was, what are the challenges with hiring officers outside of California? Don't they have to go through a separate training? And how will that be addressed through this legislation?
Absolutely. And so I know that laterals, no matter where you come from or what have you, you will have to go through training, some sort of training here, and also learn the streets as well too. And so that will take some months to do the training and to go and learn the streets and work with the leaders that are currently working on the streets, including with folks like Pastor Billy Dixon, who's the co-chair of Ceasefire. And that's all built into what this legislation does. And at the same time, it still becomes more efficient. It is more efficient and more efficient than what we currently have right now, is trying to recruit for all of these academies that we currently have in the pipeline.
Great. And Darwin, I know you asked a similar question. Just want to see if you have a follow-up or if that clarified what you had hoped to get from the council member. I can also have you talk to if you want. Oh, that's clear. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just like putting you on the spot over here. All right, do we have any additional questions from the press? All right, I'm going to put in a follow-up with my email. What I will do as well is when the policy is released, I will send it out in another press release for you all, so you can have access to it as soon as it's available. And additionally, this video is being recorded. I will upload it and send it back out to all of you. So if you want to re-review it for whatever work you're doing, it will be available for you. I think most of you have my contact, but I did just drop my email in. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any additional questions about this, or if you want to schedule any follow-up with our office. Councilmember, I don't know if you have closing remarks.
Yes, again, public safety is my top priority. And I truly look at public safety through a mother's lens. And any life loss is one too many. And we all know that. We all understand that. There's been so much hurt in the city of Oakland. And as a city leader, we must step up to the moment and do more. And this is us doing more. This is us taking real action in real time. And so I want to thank everybody for joining us. I believe that if you have any questions for any of our speakers, do reach out to Brandon, and we'll do our best to connect you. If they are interested in speaking with you, we will connect you with our speakers as well. So thank you so much to all of our speakers for joining us this morning. This truly does take a village and a community. And here in Oakland, that's exactly what we are.
Great. Thank you so much, and have a great morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.